Pak Somi, siang. Pak Permadi,
Selamat siang, Pak.
siang.
Selamat siang.
Ini
Siang, Pak.
belum buka. Oh, udah buka ya?
Pak Johan,
Iya, Pak. Apa kabar?
Johan.
baik.
Pak Somi sudah makan?
Barusan nih cepat-cepat makan nih. Biasanya makannya lah itu, ya, itu jamnya tanggung.
Makannya apa, Pak?
Tadi makan sate, Pak.
Pak Yohan sehat.
Puji syukur sehat. Yang penting sehat dulu, Pak Permadi.
Sama-sama, Pak.
Biar kuat lembur.
Semangat.
Semangat.
Mohon izin interupsi Bapak-Bapak, kami izin untuk memulai untuk play videonya ya, sembari menunggu nanti di jam 13.20. Terima kasih.
Ini saya ingin memberikan gambaran atau bagaimana sih tantangan Ini saya ingin memberikan gambaran atau bagaimana sih tantangan ini saya ingin memberikan gambaran atau bagaimana sih tantangan
Yeah, so can everybody hear me? Can I get a thumbs up from the panelists if you can hear me?
Good.
Great. So a very warm good morning, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you're joining in. We have close to 300 registrations and from all parts of the world. And they are here because they want to participate in this wonderful event, which is structured around Busworld Southeast Asia. I was definitely impressed by the lovely videos that I saw, all the excitement, all the wonderful models, all the superb people behind the scenes. So we've had 2 editions of Busworld Southeast Asia. The third one's coming up in May next year. But right now, I won't talk about it. I have 2 very important people who will get to talk to you about that. What we do right now is to explain to you the context for today's event, and which all of you have understood from the invitation that he sent you. So what we are planning to do is to organize 3 webinars this year, which involves Indonesian and Asian bus industry suppliers with a large component, a large interest from India. So I am Busworld's ambassador to India, and I have it as my mission to ensure that a lot of people from India participate in this exciting event. So what are we trying to do? Apart from, Busworld obviously conducts a lot of events across the world, but underpinning the basis of all these events is knowledge, is enabling people to have good awareness of what is interesting in which market and how can we capitalize on those markets. How can we fulfill needs? How can we collaborate? How can we solve problems? So what we're doing here is to give our audience a first-hand perspective of what it is to be in Indonesia. What are the good things? What are the things that we can work together to make even better? So that is the focus of today that we're going to have in the next 60 to 90 minutes. I hope all of you have had your seat belts nicely fastened and all of you have your comments nicely typed in. At the end of the panel discussion, I am definitely going to turn to the audience for your valued comments and questions, which the esteemed panel will be very happy to take, right? So without much delay, let me, after welcoming all of you once again, let me invite Mr. Baki Lee, who is the director of GEM Indonesia. For those of you who don't know, GEM Indonesia is the driving force, the local driving force behind Busworld Southeast Asia. They are a prominent marketing, event management, knowledge company based out of Jakarta. And Mr. Baki Lee will tell you what has gone behind the scenes and what is working so well for Busworld Southeast Asia. So over to you, Mr. Baki Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Sridhar. Good days, good afternoons, good morning, and good evening to everyone attend from any country. So welcome to join the Busworld South Asia webinar 2023. Busworld webinar is a pre-event program to introduce the technology trend in the bus and coach industry before the event will be happened. We normally invite a speaker from the government, association, and our major exhibitors. After resounding the success of the first and second edition of the Busworld, so we're proud to present again the third edition of the Busworld South Asia 2024 from 15th until 17th May 2024. So the expo is projected 2 times bigger to compare the first and second editions. And our target to next year is targeted is 150 exhibitors, and overall for the visitors, for international and local visitors, we projected about 10,000 professionals. So this is not a huge number, our target for the next event in 2024. Some important program will be held during the Busworld 2024. We have an international conference, the cooperation with the associations, and the product knowledge seminar. And the third is very important, is Busworld South Asia Award. So this award will be presented by our media or visitor, will be forked from the media visitor and give to our major exhibitor. So the Busworld Award is one of the important award for our bus industry. So we will give award based on the category. So we hope our exhibitor can show the best product during the exhibition. So we can see Indonesia is the largest market in South Asia. We have a total 200 active population here and 39 provinces. So this is very big opportunity for any country, any company who are related in the bus industry. So we're talking about the bus, we must talking about the road. So you know, Indonesia now is very aggressive to build the road right now. So total right now is 2,760 kilometers until this last August. So in the end of the years, about 2024, the target is 3,196 kilometers. So increase the road, it means increase the destination. The increase the destination will be increase the number of the bus. The increase the number of the bus is happy for the bus manufacturer, bus bodybuilder, of course, for the bus component. So welcome for all business involved the bus industry, manufacturers, bodybuilder, and supporting industry coming to Indonesia to join the next year for the Busworld South Asia. So today we will know how about the bus, understanding the bus market from our speaker. Yeah, my friends, Mr. Johnny, Mr. Somi, JC, Johan, and Mr. Eka, Pramadi, they will unveil, they will reveal how is the market, Indonesia bus market right now in Indonesia. So if you are interested, you are looking for the business and willing to info the bus and coach market Indonesia or Asian market, you must join the Busworld South Asia 2024 on next year May. Until now, overall, the exhibition floor is 60% is booking. So if you want to secure your participation, please contact our team. Okay, we're looking for you on May next year, 2024. Thank you for joining us.
Terima kasih, Mr. Baki. It was a very, very wonderful and compelling set of reasons as to why somebody should come to Busworld Southeast Asia. Now, let me turn to Vincent, who is the General Manager of Busworld International. He will tell you why Busworld Southeast Asia is so important in all the shows that his organization conducts across the globe and why he's so excited to be part of it and preparing for it. Vincent, over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Very happy to see you again and to be with you again today. We are, of course, in full preparation of Southeast Asia, and it is a fact that Busworld as an organization is very keen and ready to put all its energy into a country like Indonesia, and especially in our exhibition in Jakarta. We are here for the third time. We survived the pandemic. We had a rough time also in Busworld, organizing events worldwide, but nevertheless we are sure that if we attack the market in an intelligent way, we can still make the difference. And that's why we are here together today in our first webinar, trying to bring Indian suppliers close to the Indonesian bodybuilders. We had some discussions in the last event in Jakarta with some bodybuilders, and they were asking us, please, we would like to have more suppliers coming to Indonesia, so we can upgrade our buses and have different choices and possibilities to build our buses. We did not forget those words, and that's why we asked to Sridhar to join our team and to deploy our Indian database that is very large, and to connect this with you Indonesian bodybuilders. That was the aim of these webinars, and we are hoping, of course, that suppliers from India and other parts of the world will join the exhibition next year in May. I will share a document with you just to show to you a little bit what's the potential of Indonesia but like Mr. Bakili told us and you already, we all know that the country Indonesia has a huge potential. Starting with the population, 280 million, young people with a lot of challenges in front of them, with good infrastructure and an educational level that's on a high rate. So the 280 million people are definitely a big plus to the country of Indonesia. The fact that Indonesia is could be and will be the hub for the whole region is also a choice that Busworld made some years ago to have Jakarta as its ground to build out that central hub. In Indonesia today, we have approximately 250,000 buses running. Every year, 3,000 new buses are sold and 2,000 to 2,500 buses are rebuilt. The government is pushing and investing in the road infrastructure. Like Mr. Bakili said, roads are made in a good way, and the fact that the roads are from a high standard, they are inviting for bus operators to deploy their buses through the country. There are different investments such as bus rapid systems in different cities. I do not have to tell you that Indonesia is counting different cities from over 1 million and more people. So the need for public buses is very high. There is also an increase in tourism in Indonesia, especially with the area of Bali, and also coaches are getting very important. So all those things will be shared in our Busworld event in Jakarta, and I'm very happy to see you next year. And please enjoy the webinars. They will give you a lot of information, and we hope that Busworld is not only for you a partner, but part of your family. Thanks.
Vincent, that was very, very well summed up. I mean, you did give a lot of very good market knowledge, and at the same time, you also gave us the practical aspects of why Indonesia is such an exciting market. I mean, for most of the audience, I don't need to tell them why it is, but it still is interesting for us to get to know a bit more about the market. So, Inda, can we start the slide for the panel discussion? Yeah. So what we will have now is very exciting. After the wonderful words from Mr. Baki Lee and Vincent, who gave us an overview of the event in Indonesia, we will, as I mentioned earlier, in this, the first webinar of 3 that we will organize this year, talk to some of the leading participants of the Indonesian bus industry, and they will tell us in their presentations about 3 minutes each. They will take us through what is exciting in the market, what are they doing which is exciting in this exciting market, and what is likely to happen in the near future. So I have the great pleasure of first inviting Mr. Somi to make his presentation. Mr. Somi is the sales and market. He's a veteran of the Indonesian bus market, first of all. I mean, he's well known to Busworld, to Europe, to other markets. He knows much more than the Indonesian market, as I've heard him speak. So let's warmly welcome him, who is the Sales and Marketing Director of New Armada, which is one of the most prominent companies in Indonesia. Mr. Swami?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sridhar. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, too. Good morning in the rest of the world. I would like to thank that this very honestly to say that I'm very proud to can give us some input for the bus industry. In the few months ago, we are looking still looking for the market. We watching on the market in Indonesian market, but after the COVID a few months ago, there is also an exhibition in Jakarta. Is what focusing in the passenger car actually, but some of the bus maker also attend on the join on the exhibition. We can see at the time that there's so many so many participants, so many people they want to visit on the bus itself. It means that the market is still growing. Market is still growing. For instance, that for the big buses is still shortage at this moment, because we have also the few months from a few months also a shortage of the chassis itself. But the transporter is still waiting for the new chassis, and it means that the economy is going well. The economy is going well. What Mr. Bakili and Mr. Bakili already mentioned, the highway is most of the highway is finished, and that must be fulfilled for the buses. And what we can see from that perspective, the bus manufacturer is here still growing and growing. And also, if the bus manufacturer growing, it means we need the more component, more suppliers, even from local, also from outside, because the development of the bus industry in Indonesia is quite fast. If you see the model, if you see on the beginning of this presentation, that you see that the bus is very beautiful. It means I can see that I can say that this may be better than in Europe in the term of models. Attractive. All the bus participants, all the biggest carrosserie maker in Indonesia is so creative to make the buses very nice lookly, and also they put also the safety items on going and every time to develop. It means we need also the input. When we talking about Busworld, it means we open our barrier that we can see also cross over the world. It's very important that we can get also cross the information around the globe. I think that in very short that will be the Busworld in Belgium, right? And I think that the participants from Indonesia also a lot of the important VIP will be coming there. It means once again, Indonesia market for buses is still growing up. It means that we are need to have so many input for developing our product. And so far I know that now is we still face the problem that we don't have a chassis, but the order is already coming. That's all that I think that's what I can say in this session. Thank you.
Mr. Swami, so that would be, I mean, it's a happy problem to have from what I understood. I mean, there is a shortage of chassis, but it's also an opportunity for companies around the world who are listening that Indonesia needs quality chassis and quality components. And
Yes.
We wish that we have a lot of good collaboration so that both demand and supply can be well matched. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Swami, I'll come back to you during the course of the panel discussion when I'll ask you some questions, of course. Now, I have the privilege of inviting Mr. Johan to speak. Mr. Johan is Managing Director of another very well-known company, PT Tentrum. Mr. Johan, over to you. I know that you had a very good presentation.
Okay, thank you, Sri. So please allow me to greet everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Johan. I am the Managing Director of PT Tentrum Sejahtera. We are a bus bodybuilder in Malang, Indonesia. And also, please allow me to share my screen for a short presentation. Okay. Let me start. So understanding the Indonesian market and gathering opportunity for Indian or any Asian suppliers. I hope that everybody can see my screen. And the next screen, please. So our market condition so far, what is it like? So it's basically what mentioned by Mr. Somi is that the post-pandemic recovery is looking really promising for the Indonesian market, especially with the new highways, and then with the tourism is already open, then it's really, really promising in the last 1 or 1.5 years. But also we can see that the supply from the chassis OEM is not yet stable, so it's still disrupted by components, and then maybe parts are not ready yet. But they are catching up, definitely. But we're still waiting eagerly for the supply to be back just before the pandemic. And then we have a really, our government is really emphasizing on the local regulations, such as the local content. They're really emphasizing on this area of manufacturing as well. So this might be one of the challenges, one of the key points that can be discussed today. And then another demand for reliable and comfortable safety, of course, buses for exploring between cities. We can see that the traveling time is now cut down significantly because of the highways. So that's why the demand and the requirement from our customer is definitely increasing. And then Indonesia itself, we are planning to move to a net zero emission by 2040 for the carbon emission. That's why one of the solution might be electric bus. So electric bus business is coming and is prospective for our future transportation, especially for the new capital of Indonesia, which is in Bunuh in Kalimantan. Okay, next slide, please. As a bodybuilder, we have a complete product lineup. We call our product FNT series. FNT means advanced technology. We have a complete series from coaches, buses, sleeper bus, double-decker bus, high-tech bus. We have them all, especially also for short to medium range buses, like like the front engine buses, the medium buses, medium tourism. We have a complete buses for Indonesian market. Okay. And some of the highlights of our company's performance is that we already achieved local content certifications by the Ministry of Industry. In total, we have 8 brands of our buses, which already have the certification of local content of around 37 to 40% of local content. And we also, some of materials, we also follow the local regulation of raw material. We call it SNI. standard national Indonesia, and such as the windscreen and then the side glasses, it has to follow that regulation. And then we must not forget that everyone who wants to make buses or drive on Indonesian road, we have to follow it's called PP number 55 with the year of 2012. That's one of our guidance in building the buses. And then ISO standard, we are also ISO 9001-2015 certified for our company. And we already did the rollover test. We have the electrical load analysis for each of buses that we produce. That's why our concern is back to the safety, the comfort of the passengers that we serve. Okay, next. Our future goals, this might be one of the challenges that can be discussed today. So we want to increase productivity and quality, of course. And then since our government is really emphasizing on higher local content, so with options coming from Asian suppliers or Indian suppliers, might be a good idea to see how big is Indonesian market is, and then is it feasible to have a company or a manufacturing here so that we can increase also the local content, and then try to show to our government that this is the goal that we already provide to them, and then we show them that we already going towards that goal. So I also mentioned that the procurement for domestic parts in compliance with Indonesian and international standards. So the standard itself is quite high, especially during the last 2 years, because the government require us to have the rollover test, load analysis. So it's definitely the challenge to increase the quality. And then we should see that we should be able to see that electric buses will be coming to Indonesia. So we have to learn and perhaps do some development here and there and trying to capture the opportunity for the electric buses that is coming to Indonesia. So that will be my presentation to just give an idea on the Indonesian market, the challenges that we are facing now, and hopefully, really hopefully that partners from Asian, from Indian can help us in solving these questions and challenges from the government. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Johan. It was, Mr. Johan, it was a very, very articulate and very concise presentation, which brought out all the important points. I made 2 or 3 notes. I figured that the quality of buses in Indonesia is very high quality, that the government is very keen on strong standards of safety and also local content. And therefore, if any foreign supplier wants to come to Indonesia, they should not think so much of trading or import-export, but more of local manufacture and collaboration with local companies.
Exactly. Yes.
Fantastic. So let me now, with having acknowledged this, let me move on to the next speaker, another dynamic speaker that we have with us, Mr. Jesse, who's director of PT Adiputro. It's interesting, Mr. Jesse, that how similar Indonesian and Indian names are. I mean, this could very well be an Indian name. So a lot of people could easily understand and relate to it. So it's over to you. The stage is yours now.
Thank you for the time. I would like to share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
We can see your screen.
Okay. First of all, I would like to introduce myself once again. My name is Jesse Kusumo. I have joined Adiputro since 2013 until now. I've been focusing my work on the operational part of the company, dealing a lot with the production and logistics inside the company. So Adiputro is a bus bodybuilder that was established in 1973 in Malang, Indonesia. We categorize our product into 2 major product lines, the microbus product and the bus department. The first one is the microbus department. So it consists of several different products, and the majority of the product is a 4-wheeler vehicles. This product is famous for the mobility and also perfect for short route or even inner city transportation choice because we can access city street and narrow road area. We believe that this product are best fitted for our customers who runs short to medium route shuttle business, and also feeder transportation service. Our second product line is the bus department. It also consists of several different types of products. All of them are six-wheelers with different length ranging from 8 meters to 13.5 meters. Our product in this category will cater to medium to long routes transportation service with maximum passenger and baggage capacity. This product will best fitted for our customers who run city bus, intercity bus service, tourist bus, and also airport transportation service. Talking about the Indonesian bus market itself, there are a lot of factors that influence the demand of the market. But I believe one of the most important things that has an effect directly to the demand for bus in Indonesia is the government continue to invest on developing the road infrastructure. I want to share some facts with you guys. So basically, Indonesia consists of 5 major islands. 2 of the most populated islands is Java and Sumatra. More than half of the country population live in these 2 islands. On the left, we can see the toll road development already connect the east side to the west side of the island in Java. For example, we can see Jakarta to Surabaya, it already connected by toll road, and the range is around 800 kilometers. And on the right side, we see the toll road development in Sumatra Island by the end of this year. So even though it's still spread out, the total toll road completed by the end of this year is around 730 kilometers. And the targeted total length of the toll road in Sumatra itself is around 1800. I believe the development of the toll road has a positive impact on the bus market. It will decrease the travel time for passenger mobility. With that, people will start to choose bus as their way of travel compared to the other land transportation, which is train. Indonesia is becoming more and more efficient in transporting people using bus transportation. Thank you. That's all for me. Thank you, Sri.
Thank you, Jesse, and it was a very good presentation in terms of complementing what Mr. Swami and Mr. Johan had already mentioned. Yes. What you're saying is that with the road development, and that is something that Mr. Bakili also mentioned, with the road development happening at such a fast pace, and Indonesia creating what if I heard you correctly, a new capital, that is a very exciting development. With so many high quality roads coming up, I'm sure that the demand for both city and intercity buses will go up. And at the same time, both electric and non-electric chassis will be in demand. So I think that is a very exciting picture for external suppliers to take note of. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Now let me turn to Mr. Eka, who has extensive experience as being an assembler, distributor, service provider for Volvo's range of products in Indonesia. He is the Chief Operating Officer of PT Indo Truck Utama. Over to you, Mr. Eka.
Yeah, thank you, Sridhar. Thank you. First of all, thank you also for the Busworld Committee, Mr. Vincent and Pak Baki, for inviting us to, I believe this is a very interesting webinar. Selamat siang, good afternoon, good morning to all the audience. I would like to present one presentation that consists of introduction and also our impression and focus on the current and future bus market. Bu Indah.
Indah, can you please change the slides for Mr. Eka? Indah, can you hear us?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, while waiting, maybe during during my presentation, especially on the introduction of our company, it also can provide some opportunity or the basic information for the vendors that maybe attend this webinar. Also to find maybe later on to share some possible opportunity. Bu Indah, ini yang PowerPoint kan ya? the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Binda. So I start my presentation. The title is Enhancing Indonesia Bus Market. It's very interesting word, enhancing. This is actually what I heard from the beginning, from Pak Somi also, Johan and Pak Jesse. That's the actually all of us want to do. Next. Okay, first of all, my company is a part of the Indomobile Group. For the audience that may know not us, so we are the Indomobile, one of the automotive conglomerate in Indonesia. This is our brand. My company, later on I will tell you the company names. Next. My company is called PT Indo Truk Utama. We established 35 years ago. Basically, we are carry all the Volvo brand in Indonesia, starting from the trucks, bus, heavy equipment, and also some other brands, basically. Next. Coming back to the Volvo bus, which is one of our main partner, in relevant to the today webinar, Volvo bus, as you know, already present in many countries, 85 plus countries. They also established very long time, since 1968, and they have also certain manufacturing facilities globally, which is one of their assembly facility is in Jakarta, in Indonesia. Next. For your information, this is our operation network. We are basically spread out very well throughout the Indonesia, from the east, from the west side to the east side. So basically, wherever customer put their operation on the buses, so we are there. Next. So this is just information on the Volvo buses development in Indonesia. Actually, we start quite some time ago, quite long, 2003, with introduction of B7R, and after that B12M in 2008. But after that, we paused our business on the bus, and we reintroduced the business in 2017 with delivering the 119 of the Transjakarta BRT bus to the Transjakarta. And after that, starting from 2019, we introduced our next generation of bus in the Busworld, 2019. So B11R and B8RE, LE, low entry bus. By 2022, we start to have to assembly our chassis, some models in Indonesia, in one of our factory. So, and after that, by the end of 2022, we introduced our Euro 5 bus chassis in Indonesia. Pushed us to become the first chassis manufacturer from Europe that introduced the Euro 5 in Indonesia. Next. Now, for your information, our available chassis right now, the product consists of several, but starting from the 4x2, 6x2, high normal deck, and also low entry. All of our chassis right now is Euro 5 engines. One of some most popular one like B11R, 450 horsepower, 6x2. Euro 5 with the 4 ISIF transmission. And the other part is B8R 330 horsepower 4x2 Euro 5. Application is some for intercity, some for tourism or chartered bus, and also some is for the city bus, especially BRT and some other city bus application. The other part of our product that will be introduced very soon is what we call alternative fuel buses. Will be started from electric buses. So we hope that we can bring in the chassis very soon. Next. This is related to the market, especially that what happened in the bus market. From our observation, the global bus market is increased, which is a good thing, but also providing a challenge to us, which is Pak Jesse and also Pak Johan and Pak Somi already mentioned regarding the the availability of the chassis. But in Fofo bus, Indonesia market is getting much higher and much more bigger focus right now in the Fofo bus. So basically, that's why we managed to deliver some of the chassis, especially Euro 5 to Indonesia market. And talking about the Indonesian bus market, as you know from Gaikindo perspective, the increase is quite big, but it's being pushed by smaller bus, 130% compared to the last year by the first semester, which is we believe that this trend will be continue to the second semester and hopefully to the next year. That is basically the basic market trend. The affecting factors is related to the bodybuilder production capacity and also supporting component supply, which is really also related to the today webinar goals to bring in some maybe to other countries vendor to Indonesia. For us, for the chassis manufacturer, it is a problem because we managed to bring in chassis to Indonesia, but our customer need to wait for bodybuilding process because of the component supply, things like that. So there's also a good problem that we need to fix. Second, availability of the financing, which is important for us. And also the third one is possibility of policy shifting. As you know, next year the government will be elected from the president to the local government. So as you know that there will be some policy shifting. And the last one is we found out that some of the route is being saturated because of the popularity of the route and also effect of the creating some kind of the price war between bus companies, which is not really good for us. Next slide. Further development, we want to continue our productive growth. We also want to focus the alternative fuel products and also developing untapped market segment. And the most important thing also further collaboration with local partners, especially on this case with bodybuilders and also the other local vendor that will supply their product to us. I believe, Sridhar, this is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eka. So first of all, we took in a lovely spread of products and also your reach across Indonesia for 3 different very big brands. And also we understood from you the dynamics of the Indonesian market, new budgetary requirements, financing, price wars, component supplies. So, it's a very interesting market for somebody to study. If there are any journalists in the audience, please take note. We have good stories here. So I also wanted to say, before I move to Mr. Parmadi, the audience, I see quite a few of them right now. It'll be great if you can start to type in your questions, because after Mr. Parmadi, I'm going to ask a few questions, and then I will want to take your questions to the panelists. Yeah, so start typing, please. Mr. Parmadi, you heard all the bodybuilders. You are a prominent component manufacturer. You manufacture seats. So
Yes.
what is your assessment of the market, and how do you see it going, and therefore your business?
Thank you for the time, Mr. Sridhar. Good morning, good afternoon. Let me introduce myself. My name is Parmadi. I'm the director of Kencana. We are the manufacturer of buses. I will make my presentation short because, like the question about the Indonesian bus market, I think it's already explained by Mr. Johan, JC, and Mr. Somi. So I would like to introduce what we do. Let me share my slide. This is what we make. We are making the seat for the buses, starting from medium buses until the luxury buses. We produce all the components and sewing and everything here in Indonesia. The problem that we have is the choices of fabrics. That's, I think, the one that we can work together with the other countries, maybe India. The choice of materials and the choice of fabric that we have in Indonesia is very limited. I think that's the thing that we can work together. Because about the market, I believe that it's growing really fast after the COVID, starting from 2022 April, I think. It started growing until this point. So our main focus for the next year, maybe make our products more lightweight, beautiful, and not forgetting about the comforts. I think that's basically all for me, because the condition and projection for next year, I think it's already explained by others, by Johan, JC, and Mr. Somi. That's it from me, Mr. Sridhar.
So that is called a short and sweet presentation. So, I mean, you've covered all the important aspects, and you've complemented what the other speakers have said. You've mentioned specific needs of fabrics that you want. You also want to make light.
And also the materials, yes.
Yes, you want to make lightweight and quality products across a full range of buses that you serve currently, right?
Exactly.
So that's
especially about the materials.
Yeah.
Choice of materials, I think.
I understood that.
Yeah.
And I am very sure that a lot of people who are Indian, who are in the audience, are taking note of that.
Yes.
So,
yes, please.
So now that we have had a lovely round of presentations from our panelists, for the next 20-25 minutes, I'm going to be asking questions of our panelists in terms of what they presented and what comes to my mind. And after that, I'll be happy to take questions from the audience. And as I can see, the questions are going up. Good. So let me first turn to Mr. Somi. Mr. Somi, you heard all the presentations after having spoken first. So according to you, this growth in the Indonesian market, do you see it as being long-term? And number two, in which segments, city or intercity, electric or non-electric, do you see the most growth happening?
Okay, when I already presented last year, when the Busworld in Indonesia last year, and the first thing is that the government itself that it will be used for the public transportation. There's already planning to until 2030 or 32, if I'm not wrong. it will be increased. It's a huge amount. That is more than 10,000 buses. More than 10,000 buses must be enter in the market, because that is mostly is an electrical buses. Because electrical buses, that is for the government itself. It's already mentioned. There's a planning, a long-term planning, but also for the regular buses. It means that the intercity of coaches. It will be also increased in linearly with the growth of Indonesian market. For instance, if we are next year we have the election, right? That if after the election, I'm for sure, because there is also so many. I read in so many news that it'll be in starting in 2025. It will be increase and increase, just only increase and increase, and it means that maybe our facility itself will be shortage, because the people who making the big buses, it means that the big transportation buses is very limited. We should face a problem when is the prognosis is coming, because there is a huge amount the buses will be built in Indonesia, and we also don't talking about the export, for an export market itself. The export market itself, there is also so many companies they already pursued us to also to have a joint venture with to export in some country, and therefore, if we're talking about in local industry, it will be growing and growing. If we connection with the suppliers, and now not only from the supplier from China or also enter from to Indonesia, but also from Turkey, from Europe also is starting to enter to Indonesia, and because we require higher and higher quality actually, and also the price is very competitive price and higher quality. It will be required at this moment. Therefore, if now the audience also across the globe, I think heard my voice, please come to Indonesia, invest in Indonesia, and make joint venture with a local company, increase the quality, decrease the retail price, because we must compete also with the company, the bus maker outside Indonesia. And our regulation, our government regulation, there is already mentioned why is the local content must be increase and increase, because in the last regulation what is released in beginning of this year, the import duty of the vehicle itself will be decreased and decreased, and it means Indonesia carrosserie must be ready to exist, because the tax barrier will be decreased and decreased. Therefore, I think it's better that most of the company, especially is the component company, enter Indonesia, make investment, join with local partner. I think it's the better way, because if you ask me about the market will be growing and growing. I can imagine.
So, Mr. Swami, you mentioned a lot of points. Let me summarize it for the benefit of the audience. You first of all said that next year elections are going to happen, and this is something that Mr. Johan and Mr. Jesse also mentioned, Mr. Eka also. So, which means that you will have a lot of spending happening once the election cycle is over. you see a big demand for electric buses, but you also see a demand for intercity buses. You see a lot of foreign companies entering Indonesia. You also expect more possibilities for collaboration. If I heard you correctly, you also mentioned that import duty barriers are going to be reduced, and which means that the collaboration possibilities will increase. And there are also export possibilities which are being thought of in Indonesia. But at the moment, there is still a shortage of chassis. So you're not able to meet demand very effectively. Right?
Yes.
This is a summary of what Mr. Swamy said. So I just want to take it to the audience also to take note and ask questions if you want to. Next, I will turn to Mr. Johan. Mr. Johan, you mentioned one thing which struck me as very interesting, which is that the government, while it wants foreign investments, is also very particular on local content, right?
Yes.
So in which areas, in which parts, in which components do you see a mandate for local content, and where is it that foreign suppliers can come in?
For several examples of the challenges that we are facing is perhaps similar with Mr. Jesse, Mr. Swamy, and other speakers. Mr. Pramadi, he mentioned about for example, the fabrics. We are limited to several choices of fabrics that we can use for the buses in Indonesia. So definitely this is one of the simple example. If there's a company from abroad who can have a joint venture like Mr. Swamy mentioned, and then come to Indonesia, transfer their technology, transfer their businesses, and have a branch here of manufacturing, and can supply us with a good quality, competitive price products, then I believe that will be a good example that we can show to the government, because with the new regulations from Ministry of Investment and Marinvest, we call Marinvest, they really require 2 points. The first one is local content, we call it TKDN, Tingkat Kandungan Dalam Negeri, and second one is PMP. Combined together at least 40%, then we can receive the benefits from the government. What kind of benefit it is, they still haven't mentioned yet, but it is becoming one of the hot topics that they are discussing now about the local contents and PMP. PMP is more on the company side. Do you do like corporate social responsibility, CSR? How do you manage the small medium enterprise as your supplier? Is it always B2B, or is it can be B2C as a supplier to you? They calculate all those points, become one BMP number. So in total, the local content and the BMP has to exceed at least 40%. That's the challenge that the government gave to us. But if the question is what kind of benefit that they will give us in return, still not clear yet. But it's becoming hot topics for the local contents for sure.
So very interesting. Let me ask you a follow-up question on that. If the government insists that you have 40% local content, right, standards, they want to promote local industry. Do you think local industry is ready to support you with 40% local content?
That's why I think that's also one of the opportunity that can come from abroad. So if by having a joint venture or perhaps an investment, manufacturing in Indonesia is definitely, let's say for joint venture, definitely there will be some transfer of technology, mutual benefit between parties from abroad and parties from Indonesia. Then, of course, by increasing the quality and increasing the productivity, then, of course, this new joint venture can compete in the Indonesian market. That's what I believe.
Okay, excellent. So let me then take both these very well-informed perspectives to Mr. Jesse. Mr. Jesse, I have been studying the Indonesian market for a few months at least. I won't claim to be as much of an expert as all of you are. But I keep hearing the word electric everywhere. And somewhere I did come across the figure of 10,000 electric buses for Jakarta, Transjakarta. So to what extent is the electric bus program real, and how much of it still needs to be developed and built?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Sri. So basically, yeah, I guess the electrification of the vehicles in Indonesia, not only the bus, but the passenger itself in Indonesia it's going pretty fast. So basically, we are also trying to be in that world also. So basically, this year we released our product, our first electric bus. We are working together with the South Korea brand, and we are using the additional electric chassis, and we produce 112-meter chassis, not a low deck but a high deck. And with that product, I hope that we can penetrate more bus market. And right now, and from the government part, what I saw is I think the government need to prepare on the infrastructure, such as the charging station and everything, because they have to build a lot of charging station for the bus, because it will go everywhere, every part of the city. That's what I think about.
Let me ask you a very simple, direct question. Is 10,000 electric buses for Indonesia, for Jakarta, a realistic target, or is it an ambitious target?
I think it is. It is real. I think it is.
It's a realistic target. You think it will be met, will be achieved?
Yeah, even though it's hard, but I think the government really pushing forward to be achieved.
So essentially, Indonesia will move very aggressively towards electric buses.
Yes.
Excellent. So let me move to Mr. Eka. Mr. Eka, just a small bit of information. I did work for Volvo in India, so I'm very aware of what Volvo does. And I know that Volvo stands for high quality buses, right? So to what extent is the Indonesian bus industry or the average passenger interested in high quality buses as opposed to simple functional standard buses that take you from one place to the other? That's question number one. And number two, what is, according to you, the availability of locally manufactured chassis vis-a-vis imported chassis? So two questions to you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Sridhar. For first question regarding the relation between our product quality, which is one of the core value on the coming from the FOFO groups, from three core values. One is quality. So market is Indonesian market is changing. You can see right now is totally different compared to the maybe 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, and the passenger is right now is preferring the good quality buses when they want to take the bus from Jakarta to Surabaya, for example, or to Jakarta to Medan, whatever the destination will be. So I believe is related to the development of Indonesia as the country becoming more developing countries compared to the previous some years ago. So that actually in our case is creating some opportunity for us, such as for example in our case is passenger preferring more comfortable bus compared to the less comfortable bus, which is FOFO bus bring in the what you call air suspension bus as the pioneer before in 2004, and we continue to do that to bring in some features for passenger comfort and also for passenger safety, for example. I believe the market is changing, the market adapting with the young guys. As you know, the Indonesian people has one of the biggest young people population in the world. With young people, they always think progressive. They always want to have more, much better than before. The second question regarding the chassis, local chassis manufacturer versus compared to the imported imported chassis manufacturer. This is in the bus industry, you cannot avoid. Someday there will be a local manufacturer coming, totally local, coming into the market that everybody cannot avoid. In the same case, also maybe like in the passenger car or whatever the product will be. So for us, we step further by produce some of our chassis or assembly our chassis locally, and we put some local content, start to put the local content inside our chassis. So by doing that, we hope that for bus becoming have much more local content compared to the previous for bus chassis.
Very good. Thank you for the answer. I mean, so basically, I got it that the market is gradually moving towards higher quality buses, and you feel that there is still a shortage of locally manufactured chassis. But in time, you feel that this need will be fulfilled, especially if you have more foreign players making their chassis in Indonesia. Now, one question to all the bodybuilders before I move to Mr. Permadi for the component angle. Do you think?
Sorry, Sri. I will make a correction about the demand of the electric buses. What mentioned by the government, Sri.
Yeah. Please
it's totally is 45,000 buses until 2030, which is 10,000 will be in Jakarta of DKI. That is what is the demand for electric buses. Actually, the regular buses of this ICE is the conventional one that is also still exists. Maybe, but the volume is maybe a little smaller because there's only for uses for the intercity. Because now I'm not believe that the facility for the intercity for the electric buses is already done in that years. That's what I want to mention it.
No, thank you very much for the clarification. 45,000 is a very big number. So actually, I wanted to have two last questions before I go to the audience. One question generally to all the bodybuilders, which is, do you think, I mean, if there is a lack of quality local chassis or you have to import chassis, do you think there is a possibility to make monocoque buses in Indonesia by putting together aggregates of engines, transmissions? So is that possible? Has that been done before in Indonesia? Any one of you can take the question.
Yeah, hello. Yeah. Basically last year we do a monocoque chassis. We built a monocoque bus. Basically we do it on a medium. We do it with a 2.1 meter wide bus. So basically we do a medium bus with a rear engine, and then we do it monocoque with the chassis, and we also put a coil spring on it. So basically we do have one product on it, and we also exhibited on the Busworld last year.
Excellent. So I think let me then ask you,
in
Indonesia, what is the split between rear and front engine buses? What is?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong from anybody, but I think for me itself in Adiputro, we do 75% rear engine. And the rest is 25% front engine for us in Adiputro. But I don't know if Mr. Somi or Mr. Yohan have a different percentage on the population on the chassis. So
that's excellent.
Yeah.
So I think it's very good perspective from the bodybuilders. Mr. Permadi has been waiting very patiently. So, and he did mention a very specific point of requirement for materials for seats. Mr. Parmadi, what I wanted to ask you is, you have clearly expressed your need, right? That this is what you need. In terms of policies, in terms of local conditions, in terms of how the market is it easy for you to tie up with a foreign supplier, not just to import, but also to make a local collaboration where you can manufacture in Indonesia? Is that easy to do?
I think if it is easy or not, it depends on the government rules, right? But for trading, it's pretty easy. But the problem is back to the what we call it TKDN, Tingkat Kandungan Dalam Negeri, as Mr. Johan said. If you do trading too much, then it will lower our TKDN percentage. That's the problem. But then in Indonesia, as I mentioned, there is very less choices of materials. That's the problem with us now. Maybe the fabrics or the lightweight materials with the same strength for the safety. I think we need a lot of choices of that material or fabric here in Indonesia. That's probably what we need help.
So if I understood you correctly, Mr. Parmadi, so if you just import, you will end up with not meeting local localization standards.
Exactly. So, that's I think what happened with others too.
So I think what you need is more of transfer of technology or local manufacturing. Is that correct?
Yes, joint venture and stuff like that.
Yes. So you need more of volume production.
Yes.
And the other speakers mentioned exports out of Indonesia. So which are the most important export markets out of Indonesia, Mr. Parmadi?
In terms of what? Exports?
Yes, out of Indonesia.
Out of Indonesia, for now, I haven't think of that because focusing on domestic market, we still need to ramp up the production. So currently, after the COVID, we still need to think about the domestic market first because the market is too big for us.
Okay, excellent. Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think now is the time to dig into the audience questions. They have been quite active. I have about 10 questions. I'll try to take in as much as I can, right? So the first question comes from Mr. Thoib Muhammad, who asks, what is the challenge to exporting buses? The same question I asked. Is it regulation or is it permissions? Any one of you can take it. I think Mr. Swami can take it.
Okay. I have mentioned before, I have also mentioned to the government about the export policy of the chassis itself. There is so many things that that is a restriction of the OEM. It means the sole agent that there is also a connection with his principle that the chassis what they produce is in Indonesia or is sell in Indonesia just can only selling in Indonesia. I don't know what is the background actually, because maybe also Indonesia has tropical weather. It means maybe also the principal will control of the product, his product. If for the four-season country and so forth, that it will be problem if it just only for a tropical country. Maybe that is one point. The second point is there is a restriction that we cannot export any for chassis to another country except just only use in domestic Indonesia. It means that the principal will control it. I have already mentioned also to the government, but because that is a very discrimination. Because we want to also export, government asks us to stimulate us to export, but there is so many restrictions that we cannot break the barrier. If we have a market outside Indonesia and we cannot use the chassis what are just only appointed to Indonesia.
Okay.
That
I
we
understand.
need to talking about that the regulation of what kind of the regulation must be made. That we want to talking about to the government further on, because is for us is very difficult. Mr. Toyib, Mr. Toyib, you know very well that still now the restriction to export the chassis they produce in Indonesia.
Okay, excellent. So thank you for the very comprehensive answer. The next question comes from Mr. Arman Mehra of India. His question is to Mr. Parmadi. He wants to answer your specific problem. His question is, when it comes to seat fabric, do you use vinyl or moquette?
Mostly we use PVC, vinyl.
Okay.
Because the condition here in Indonesia, there is still what you call it, insect bug. So we prefer PVC more, vinyl more.
Thank you very much. So the next question that comes in is, I think we have two questions. I think I'll just take the questions. Yeah, this is from Michael Wadley. He said, since I heard about the interest to lower the weight, do you think simulation is important for bus development in Indonesia? If yes, what kind of simulation that you think will be vital for the development of the bus industry in Indonesia in the near future? So essentially, he wants to understand if there are any soft simulation of vehicles that you have the capacity for in Indonesia. I can put this question to Mr. Johan.
Okay. Let me try to answer the question. So looking back to our previous project and our current project, I think bus bodybuilder who has already made electric buses, we have the challenge of meeting the maximum GVW. So we have to present to the OEM company of the chassis, by who we have a collaboration with. And then we have to show them that in total, this body together with the chassis, with the battery, electric motor, everything doesn't exceed the maximum GVW allowed by the government. The first problem is that this GVW is actually based on the internal combustion engine chassis, the diesel chassis. And then it is the same approach, the same regulation is applied to the electric vehicle. So the challenge is how to make a really lightweight chassis plus body, but with still a really high capacity of the battery, 320 kilowatt, 400 kilowatt. It is not easy. So one of the challenges is to find the material and also doing the simulation based on that material. So by the end of the day, if we can do all those steps, then we can make sure that all those parameters of the characteristic of the material, we put it in the software. We try to calculate the curve width of the complete system. We know the COG, the center of gravity of the whole system. Then hopefully that the final result will satisfy those requirements of the GVW. So definitely software is one of the key points that we need if we want to advance more especially in the electric bus market.
So that is an opportunity again for foreign suppliers to help Indonesian bus industry with simulation software.
Yes.
Right? Thank you so much. So there's a question from Mr. Irha, which I will put to Mr. Eka. He asks, since we have talked a lot about highway development and high quality roads, his question is, what is the market opportunity for LNG fueled buses for the Sumatra to Java long distance route? So let's simply keep it as, is there a good potential for LNG fueled buses in Indonesia?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Basically, there will be opportunity for alternative fuel in Indonesia, because especially with the focus from the government and also the private sector to help the government to reduce the emission. But the problem is, I tell you the very quick with our experience on the gas fuel trucks, not the bus. The problem is to get the good source of the LNG or CNG, whatever the gas is. So that's the problem. So to run the bus, especially we need to have the fuel, right? And also the second one is regarding the safety, because gas is much more volatile compared to the diesel. That's very important. Everybody want to bring in the LNG or gas buses. You need to take care of that safety first.
I understand. So I'm going to just take, we are running a bit short of time. Thank you for the lovely answer, Mr. Eka. So it's pretty clear from your perspective that there is demand, but you need fuel, you need safety, right? Without that, you really cannot be running gas or LNG buses. A couple of questions I have. Mr. Rajesh Jain wants to know what is the import duty for interior products used in buses. So basically components. What is the import duty? Mr. Palmadi, you can take it.
I don't think I have the answer for this. Maybe others can help me with this.
Yeah, so somebody else can help with this.
The import duty?
Yeah, import duty for interior products used in the bus. Any one of you can answer.
Yes, you can go to Google and open. It's called INSW, Indonesian National Single Window or something. If I'm not wrong. So based on the HS number, you can check the import duty for specific products. INSW.
INSW, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. So I have a large question here. Let me try to summarize.
Can I just intervene, Sridhar? Just a small intervenience. Could you tell us from the experts what is the range of import duties? Is it from 5% to 30% to 40%? How is the fork defined? Do you have any idea? Just to have an idea for the audience?
Yes, correct, Vincent. So it's ranging from 5, 2.5 even maybe, to up until 30%, 40%. And some items, even instead of just the number of percentage on the import duty, they also have a limitation.
Okay.
Some items cannot be imported, or it can be imported with an additional permit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Vincent, for your specific query. There is a large question from I just try to summarize the name. It's Mr. Tunot Aldina Partha Disastra. So the question that is very simply that BRT is big in Indonesia, yes, but also the rail network is developing very fast in Indonesia. So, Mr. Swamy, do you think at some point BRT and rail will be in competition? Are they already in competition? I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you repeat it, the question?
The question was, BRT is very big in Indonesia, but rail is also big in Indonesia. So do you see competition between BRT and light rail or MRT in Indonesia?
BYT, you mean BYT?
BRT, bus rapid transit.
Yeah. That is the BRT just only used in the big city of cities for the public transportation. That is at this moment just only the government make the policy of that for BRT, because there is already the Ministry of the Transportation. They have a map already which city must be implemented the BRT. If we talking about that, if we talking about that, if we want to enter that in that business, just only for the cities, for replacement of the conventional buses. That is, but for the regular for the intercity transportation of coaches is not regulated yet. How to do this depend on the transporter itself. When we want to replace to the electric vehicle. Is that what you mean, the question?
Yeah, the question was very simply that bus rapid transport, will it be in competition with railway? So what you're saying is BRT is only for cities, railways are across Indonesia. So
yes,
so both can develop on their own.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a good answer. I think at this stage we are definitely over time. It was an interesting discussion, so nobody complained. I did not see the number of participants reducing at any point of time. That is testimony to the lovely inputs that came from all of you panelists. I thank you for that, but we are not done yet. We have one last part remaining, which is some concluding remarks from Jan de Man, who is the managing director of Busworld Academy. But before we go to Mr. Jan, Inda, I thought you wanted to play a couple of slides because we had a lot of questions from people about where to download presentations from and where can they see these proceedings again on YouTube. So stay on this slide, Inda. So for anybody who wants to go back to the previous slide, Inda. For anybody who wants to go through the slides that the presenters presented, this is the place to download it from, busworldsoutheastasia.org, right? Please take note of it. Yeah. And if you want to watch this webinar once again, and if you want to make some notes from it, you can scan this or you can go to this link and basically download it. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Jan, now.
Thank you so much, Sridhar. I apologize for having missed the first part of this webinar, which was definitely most interesting. But I have the general atmosphere during the last, let's say, 30 minutes that I could follow it. Some closing remarks. First of all, thank you to all the speakers. You were very to the point. Some closing remarks about the implementation of zero-emission buses. We refer to electric buses. We see this globally as, let's say, an implementation in urban transport. We remain in zero-emission solutions. We remain very hungry for long-distance technologies, right? And we are looking at CNG, we're looking at other gas solutions, natural gas solutions, etc. But the problem is, as the speaker said, is the availability of it. And the problem is as well that it is not completely zero emission, but it is a solution, of course. Worldwide, there is a big competition going on for hydrogen, for the production of hydrogen and the implementation of hydrogen buses. Right now, we see that hydrogen buses cost about 500% compared to a diesel bus, which is still more than double of a battery electric bus. So the investment remains very important. And that means that even with lower maintenance costs, etc., that we do not get the TCO in the neighborhood of battery electric buses. So in urban transport, everyone right now is focusing on battery electric solutions. But that means that the exchange of technology is very, very important. And as Mr. Sami said so clearly, it is also very important that the electricity that we will be using is produced in a carbon-free way. If not, we're just replacing the pollution, right? So first of all, production of clean electricity. Second thing is the readiness of the grid. Some referred to this as well. We can produce electric buses, we can drive zero emission, but is the electricity grid in Indonesia ready to, let's say, charge overnight 10,000 electric buses in Jakarta or a couple of thousand in other cities? That is something that remains to be seen. The international collaboration in the manufacturing is going on, and it's getting more and more complex. So the import regulations are being simplified in order to promote this international collaboration. We see it everywhere. But what we see the last couple of years, and it maybe has something to do with the COVID, etc., but we see huge supply chain problems. We see a shortage of chips to steer on the digital processes. We see buses being delivered with 1 year retardance on it, 1 year later than promised, mainly in North America and Europe we see this. So supply chain problems will still increase while we internationalize our business. And that is why I think Volvo has made it very clear that the local production and the increase of local production is getting very, very important. That will avoid supply chain problems, etc. So Indonesia, to our vision, is clearly on its way to that. And that is why we are convinced that the next 2 webinars, where we will hear importers in Indonesia. Right now, we heard the Indonesian bus bodybuilders, the Indonesian market itself. I'm very interested in hearing, let's say, the Indonesian potential suppliers to the Indonesian manufacturers. And this will be the subject of next webinar. So I'm looking very forward to this. And then, of course, the summum of all this process is the Busworld edition in May 2024 in Jakarta, where we're looking forward to meet you all live and, let's say, enter into the real business at that time. Busworld Southeast Asia 2024 will be a real business meeting between Indian suppliers and Indonesian buyers as well. So thank you once again to all the speakers. Thank you to the moderator. It's been exactly what we have been looking for, and I look very much forward to see you all in Jakarta in May next year. Thank you very much.
Before we conclude, Hinda, can you put both the links that we had put about the presentation and the YouTube link on chat so that everybody can take note of it? You can type those links on chat, Hinda, so people can copy from there.
Sure, we will preparing for it. Just a couple minutes.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, we have already sent to the chat box.
Thank you very much, everybody. So those who want to make a note can make a note. It's been a real pleasure sharing the morning and afternoon with you. Hope you all have a very nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You see you next year.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. ini saya ingin memberikan gambaran atau bagaimana sih tantangan